Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Hooks, Knits, and Dice. Yay! I don't have a horn blower, that sort of thing, but I'm going to show you guys kind of a slideshow with a voiceover of every piece of crocheted or knit work that I have pictures of online. It sounds like a lot. It's really not, because there are so many pieces that I've given away before I could think to take pictures of them. And some of them I only have a portion of the work in detail, taking a picture of it, and not the full piece, so I do apologize for that. I do have a blooper in there. I have a couple of works in progress, two of which may never be finished, but it's because I had to leave them in the US, and so I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to finish them, but that's, something to look forward to. And really, I just hope you guys have had fun learning and listening with me, and I don't have a lot concerning games, except for we got a new game from Mom. Tricky Tower. Let's see if I can get the light correct. It's basically like Jenga, except it has a little colored die there. And I guess you toss the die and figure out what color to pull from the tower and hope the tower doesn't topple. So that sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait to try it. Anyway, we'll get started. And thank you guys for being loyal viewers, for telling people about me, and really being supportive. I greatly appreciate your support. Yeah, so I don't have the pictures of Marina's first blanket that I crocheted for her, or her first poncho, but I learned to crochet from two books. One was Learn to Crochet in 10 Minutes a Day, and Learn to Crochet Irish Lace Crochet, which is what these two sets of booties are. The second one here in black is a modification, and the pom-pom bell slippers are a further modification of the Irish Lace traditional booties. The yellow bib that you saw briefly in that other picture was one that I had made from a free pattern you can get in the stores when you buy yarn. A lot of the stores offer free patterns when you purchase yarn, which is great. Amigurumi is a Japanese word for dolls, and the first doll I learned to make was Hello Kitty. The pattern that I read was one that made her wear overalls, and I didn't like that. I wanted a plain Hello Kitty that I could dress up and put in costumes. So I wrote my own pattern, roughly based off of that one, and I kind of went crazy with it. I made that tiny Hello Kitty, this giant Hello Kitty that's a Cthulhu doll. She's wearing a costume. I've made one wearing a sari with a Mongol tikal. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Made jeweled palu on the back of her sari. And then I painted on a black fabric so I could make a bunad for this Hello Kitty here. And of course I made a dress for the Baile Folklorica Hello Kitty there. Made the earrings, basically everything I did. The mirrored jewel, buttons, and the eyes are the only things I didn't make on this Hello Kitty doll. It's actually a bunny rabbit, so it's not really Hello Kitty. I just used that pattern to make the doll, and then added the ears. I took a bird pattern I found online and modified it so that it would be a crow. I gave this crow to Voltaire, Aurelio Voltaire, the musician. And I made this weeping angel originally to sell at the Steamposium in 2016, but I ended up giving it to the actor who portrayed Van Gogh in Doctor Who. I made this penguin for Marina, and of course I made the tutu and the fish. They weren't part of the pattern, neither was the bow, but it's super cute and I think she likes it. I made this caterpillar and an angelfish and a sheep in the same colors for the local museum for a children's program that they have toys for the kids to play with while they educate them and the parents. And I made this polar bear for my sister Jessica because she loves polar bears. It's a teeny tiny polar bear. It fits in the palm of your hand. That jellyfish is for Emma Liliana, the daughter of our friends. She's a new baby. They're brand new parents, so that's exciting. There's the sheep I was talking about. It's really a lot of fun. It's a technique where you loop the yarn over your finger, make the stitch, and then pull it, and it won't come out. You can tug on those loops all you want. those baby feet I modified from a pattern that wasn't in English, and I put the stars on it to represent my nieces and nephews that are sons and daughters of Jesse. The cheeky monkey is for Alana, and I made this Sacred Heart emoji for an art installment in Boise, Idaho, and I was really excited to participate in that from here. The angel pig is inspired by a story by the same name, and it was a gift to a pastor in California. And her son is a brony, I think they call him. He likes My Little Pony, the latest iteration, which is Friendship is Magic. So that's Fluttershy with a hand-crocheted sweater. And Twilight Sparkle. I designed this pony to look very close to the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I made this drone for my brother-in-law, who really is very talented at flying drones. I recommend you check out his channel, FPV Norway, I think it's called. A chocolate Easter bunny for Mom last year with a little chocolate rose, and of course a puppy dog that looks like her real puppy dog Mira, complete with curly hair because she's part poodle and border collie, and then the black chihuahua that my mom has. Of course I made that for her. My stepdad says it looks like a donkey. I made a chickie on a chocolate cupcake for Grandma last year for Easter. That was a lot of fun. I have a book on how to crochet cupcakes. And speaking of food, here we are at Food, Bugs, and Plants. They are also mostly amigurumi, though some of them are just 2D. They're flat for sewing on to the cupcakes, for example, or, embellishing anything, really. We have the blueberries here, which I use to put on the cupcakes mostly, and those are a lot of fun. You can basically just make any size of that. I made a banana. That was super cute. I was going to make it with the cheeky monkey, but I actually lost the fruit for a while and couldn't find them, so I couldn't put it with the monkey. There's a nice big strawberry, and that shape actually makes a really good heart shape. There's slices of lemon, lime, grapefruit, orange, and a piece of kiwi, a slice of kiwi, so that's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the different colors, and you can see there what I did with some of the other blueberries in a lighter blue, a blueberry cupcake with cream cheese frosting. Yum! There's my first attempt at a rose that wasn't an Irish lace rose. It's okay, it'll do for something. And I made a sunflower. I knit this. I learned to knit only 2 years ago. Mai taught me, my mother-in-law. And I made some fuchsia as well. And I've never made fuchsia before, so that was an interesting process. You make the bell separate and the stem separate from the petals. I made a more complicated rose and sent it to my mom. I don't know if she managed to see it. She is sight impaired, so she may have missed it. I made this butterfly full of flowers on a felt backing for my mother-in-law, inspired by Lunar Heavenly's work. And I knitted this petunia. I'm so proud of this petunia. It turned out so nicely. And it wasn't that difficult to make. I also knit the ladybug here, and you use the stockingette stitch, I believe, to embroider the black dots on the back. I made this butterfly using crochet techniques. It kind of looks like it has Pippi Longstocking tails instead of antennae. And there's the ladybug again with a cherry and some green beans. So you can make all kinds of things. I have books on flowers and little bugs and everything. One of my favorite stitches to use is the crocodile stitch, and if you're wondering why the frogs are there, it's because I couldn't find a crocodile font. So the crocodile stitch, as you can see, is layered. It works with all kinds of yarn, and the bigger the yarn, the bigger the crocodile stitch. You can work them up, down, triangle. You can see there I made a scarf, which we're actually going to turn into a throw pillow because it's too thick. I used a very stiff yarn. That's an upcycled blueberry box. And of course I made them in wrist warmers for kids as well. Those are for my classmate's daughter, and that's for my daughter's friend. It's a baby cocoon. It's called Sweet Princess Cocoon. I've made so many different kinds of clothes. These mittens were the first ones I ever crocheted. They're obviously the first ones I ever crocheted. This lovely cover-up is black and the dress is black, so I can't really show you exactly the stitch, but it's my own creation. It's an original pattern. These are the first mittens I ever knitted, and they're the first ones I ever felted. I've never done any felting before. These are wool mittens. That's what it looked like before I felted them. You wash them in warm water with soap until they shrink. So that's actually a child-sized mitten. I used granny squares, which is a popular technique from way back, to make myself some fall wrist warmers, and here we are in fall again. That is a headband that I made for a classmate's daughter, and it's nice because it's not as bulky as earmuffs, and it's fashionable as well. My daughter loves slouch hats, and so I made her one in this color to match a sweater that her grandma, well, Tommy's mom, made her. And then I made her a pink one because she saw the pink yarn I bought at an estate sale. And then she asked for a blue one. Actually, I think she asked for the blue one first, and then she wanted the pink. They are actually originally from a shopping bag pattern that I thought would look good as hats. Speaking of hats, I made her a Rainbow Dash My Little Pony hat, complete with mane and bangs and the cutie mark. I made a very fuzzy, woolly sweater for a friend of mine, her son. He outgrew it before I could finish it, unfortunately. But I made used the basket weave technique to make, and it's crochet, it's stitches, to make the top of this tank top. And I made a hexagonal hoodie. It's made from putting 2 hexagons together plus the hood. It's really a great pattern. I had to modify it, of course, because it wasn't originally written. It was written for a child, and as you can see, I am nowhere near a child's size. It was for a former classmate of mine from way back, and she's about the same size as me, so it was lucky I could use myself as a model. Let's see accessories. Yes, I have made all kinds of accessories. Hairbands, barrettes, masks, you name it. This mask I made to wear at my wedding with Tommy, to Tommy, however you want to say that. But it's Norway, and they're kind of traditional, and I'm like, I better not wear it. I'll just keep it in the house as a memento, so. I made this handbag for Tommy's mom using the Big Dots handbag pattern, and it is gorgeous, and it's so easy. You make squares in round. I made a Frog Prince ski mask for Tommy to wear at his carnival at work. They have a carnival every year. He works in a daycare, so he was the Frog Prince. And of course I sewed him a cape and wrist warmers. I sewed this bag, crocheted this bag for Tommy's mom on she absolutely loves it. I should have posted a picture of the bottom. It's a sunshine. It's a picture of the sun in those colors with black. And it turned out so nicely. I think I got it from Drops, the pattern. This is a vortex shawl. I made it for my first Norwegian teacher, Ylva. And I don't know if she wears it, but it was so much fun to make. It's actually really unusual. You don't make each individual panel, you make each panel as you go along, so they're all interconnected, which, makes it sturdier if you ask me. And then of course I made a sweater for my mom's Chihuahua. I modified it because the dog was smaller than the pattern, and I wanted it to be a little more feminine, so I added those scallop shells at the bottom, and I really like it. I don't know if she gets to wear it. I think it's still a little big. Now, like I said, I don't have pictures of Marina's first blanket, but I did make this blanket next, and of course I didn't have any babies to give it to until Kim Jones. She has 3 kids now, but this was the blanket for Tarek, I think is how you say his name. I'm so sorry if I said it wrong. I made this blanket for Grandma. It's actually supposed to be peppermint swirls, red and white, but I thought, it'll look great if we do rainbow, sort of, or just, nice colors that go together. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. You make little peppermints and big peppermints, and you sew them together. There's a pattern for a throw pillow that matches. I also made Tommy's grandma this doily. It's called a mandala doily. I like the pattern, but I don't know if it was the different yarns that I was using or what, but it just won't quite lay flat. It wants to curl up. You can kind of even see it in the picture here. The white edges just want to curl up, so it kind of makes a dish rather than a doily. This was a labor of love. It was the Mermaid Me blanket that I made for Alana, Tommy's niece. Oh my gosh, the work I put into this thing. So much yarn. It was so much fun, but you make each individual scale. Those half slice of lemon looking type scales. Yeah, each of those are individual scales, and then I sewed on pearls and sequins. This is an emergency candle holder. It's made by crocheting over a Pringles can. And then of course I tied my own ribbon around it. You can't really see it on this side, but there's actually drips of wax that are crocheted and attached so it looks like a real candle. And there's a handle. It's an old-fashioned candle holder looking thing that you make with the gray yarn. And of course my ugly little troll that's a piggy bank, bless his heart, also on a Pringles can. I just love his little ears. I had so much fun making those. I put a fishing weight in his nose to keep his head from just flopping over willy-nilly. I have it flopped over in the picture so you guys can see the coin slot, which I reinforced with plastic canvas. I sewed and crocheted around the canvas so the kids wouldn't cut their fingers on the edge of the can. And this is a candy box from a mini Pringles box. It's got a little jingle bell on the hat. I knit the sweater, which you can hardly see, it's red. And I started to unravel the beard so that I could brush it out the way I did the troll's hair, but it didn't quite. I was just tired by the time I was done making that. Now for the fun stuff. Baby stuff! My baby just turned 19, so yeah, I'm giving it away to friends. This is actually the orchid stitch. It's a newer stitch that's been developed. Bonita Patterns introduced me to it, and that is the cowboy jersey from a very old baby set book that you can make blankets and jackets and stuff. I took and modified a Viking pattern for the baby. Twins, my friend Emily Tazy has, and then a Valkyrie for her daughter because she had a boy and a girl. And I made my own braids and everything. This is a kusapluta. I'm probably saying that entirely wrong. It's a comfort blanket. It's very small. It's kind of like what Linus from the Peanuts would use. And I made a unicorn kusapluta. The one that we have the pattern for from Hobby is for rabbits. These are the first things I ever knit. They're baby socks, and it's such an easy pattern. I found it online. Look for easy baby socks. I do have a couple of unfinished projects laying around. Some of them I will get to. This one is a get to it as I can project. It's actually the hood, and I've gotten further than this picture, of a hooded cape that I'm going to have. And I'm going to make green leaves for the roses, and of course a peacock on a pedestal in a garden, filet crochet for the cape part. It's really going to be elaborate and beautiful, but I have so many other things to work on first, so I don't know when I'm going to get to finishing it. I do have it here with me in Norway, so it will happen, but I'm not exactly sure when. They don't have a lot of bedspread weight cotton here. They have limited colors, so I'm gonna have to order online. I prefer Aunt Lydia's. These are skulls that I'm was making for a Day of the Dead purse. That not pictured here are the marigolds that I made to form the rest of the purse. And these are the skulls that I managed to embroider. There's actually more skulls. I'm using the layout of the Big Dots bag, the blue bag with the bamboo handles that you guys saw. That was the layout I was going to use to make this purse, and then I was going to create bone handles. But it was something I had to leave in the US because I couldn't manage to bring everything yarn with me, and I actually couldn't find this project before I left, so they're either still packed away in my ex-husband's belongings, or he has taken them to Mexico because he asked permission to take things of mine that I wasn't able to bring to Norway with me to the women in his hometown in Mexico so that they can use them. And I said, yes, please, because I have so much yarn and so much beautiful fabric and so many patterns. I'm like, please, instead of throwing it away, give it to women who perhaps would never be able to afford it otherwise, and let them make beautiful things with them, and I will be happy in my heart. So If he hasn't done it already, those skulls and marigolds are still floating around somewhere in his storage, and I'm not going to get to finish them personally, I don't believe. I don't know if I'll ever get back to see him in order to retrieve more of my belongings. I am not perfect. I have been crocheting for almost 20 years, and I have been knitting for 2. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. I made this sweater using the Barbie crochet book that I have. I used the yarn they called for, the needles, or the hooks that they called for. Yet when I tried it on the doll, I couldn't get it any further down than that. And if I can't get it on the doll, nobody else, no little kid, is going to be able to get it on the doll. I'm pretty embarrassed about it, but I got to take it in stride. There are some times when I have to frog a project, which means just completely unravel it and do something else with the yarn. Yeah, but I am proud. If you look at the picture, I got the heart better than they did in the example. You can see my heart at the bottom is shaped like the traditional heart shape, and theirs are a little bit off, like they missed a couple of stitches. But that's all I've got for today's episode. If you're still with me, thanks for hanging out. And I really greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to watch my videos, to interact with me, and to give me advice and answer questions. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.